Okay, good evening and welcome to the milestone moment. Tonight, we are going to flip the script and we are going to put Adrian Webb in the hot seat. Adrian, welcome to the milestone moment.
It's great to be on my show.
Okay, it's great to have you. Adrian, you have given so much to the community. You add so much value to your agent partners. When I look at what you do on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis, I'm just blown away by how much you're giving back. How do you manage all of this?
Oh, well, gosh, thank you for the kind words. Obviously, it's a passion for kind of what we do, not only with regard to the pub and the community, but I truly have a passion for helping agents grow their business. We started Power Your Business, and we want to really be that advocate that really, helps add value and push to improve every day. And myself and my team and all of us do that as just kind of our initiative. And that's something that we've done. And a lot of LOs are like, gosh, what do I need to do? And it's like 12 years of grinding, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It's been a huge thing that incrementally we've continued to do. But I think staying consistent and knowing that not only adding value to agents' business, but to the community is just a big passion of all of ours. So that's kind of a driving force for sure.
Yeah, so when you say 12 years of grinding, maybe take us back to the beginning. Like, how has this journey progressed for you? Where did you start? Where did you kind of find, let's not talk about the milestone moment yet, but maybe a point in your career where you said, wow, I could really succeed in this and help change lives. Guide me through that a little bit.
Yeah, so I initially was running a 50,000 square foot sushi restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. I was in the restaurant industry, and I had a friend that I had met in the restaurant business that we both said, if any of us get into something good, let's stay in touch. It was a good friend of mine. And a couple years later, while I was running this restaurant, he called me and said, I'm in mortgage. It's this amazing thing. You would be great at it. I was living in Southern California, so I went out and found the best mortgage company I could find, which was 2.5 hours away in Orange County, Dana Point at Dana Capital.
Not a bad spot.
Not a bad spot, but it was a 2.5 hour commute, but I was committed to finding the absolute best company. It didn't matter where it was, so I'd wake up at 4 a.m., I'd get to the office by 6:30 and grind all morning. Everybody would get in at 9. I already had a 2.5 hour, jump on them, and I was already awake for 4 more hours, and they were showing up to the office. So that innate just ability to grind through and work hard was always something I did. I realized that was a career that I enjoyed, and I picked it up really quickly. So I packed up my truck and moved to Washington and ended up out here with a company that was growing and had some good opportunity. And then it's just evolved. There was a couple of years where I was out of the business when the mortgage meltdown and housing crisis happened. I had an office in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was an amazing place to be until it wasn't an amazing place to be with regard to that market. But then in 2011-12, got back into the current purchase market, mortgage banking world that we're in now, and have kind of been in it ever since. So it's been an evolution, a long run. Not a dull moment, but definitely not a straight line.
Yeah. No, I can see that. You mentioned your team and always pushing to add value to agents. First of all, your team of Jenna and Haley, they are both incredible. You've got a new team member. I don't know if we're talking about that here tonight or not, but you've added Reed. Tell me a little bit about how you make the decision for the people that you want to work with, that you surround yourself by. Everyone that I've dealt with that you've hired, they all operate at the highest standards possible. They provide excellent service at an elite level. How do you make these decisions? What characteristics do you look for in those people?
Well, obviously, number one is passion, it's drive, it's excellence, and just wanting to be better. They have to be committed to the mission that we have, which is helping clients and helping agents grow their business. One of which is my sister-in-law. That makes it a lot easier. It's family. Haley, just an amazing loan partner that we've had on the team now for 5 years. Reed, our new addition, has a background with you. We always want to find people. I had a production partner a while back that was the brother of somebody that was on another. It's always that network of people, and then knowing that you have some of that trust. It's the same way we do it at the pub with regard to getting a referral in and knowing somebody and knowing their family or their background. We don't want to bring on anybody that we don't have some familiarity with, and we know that they're going to hold the same values that we have on a daily basis. You know, the pub and my mortgage business, Amanda and I put everything into both of those businesses, and we only want to align with the people that we think are going to be the best fit for growing those businesses. And obviously when we're not here or when I'm not on a phone call, we know that Haley's going to do the best job, Jen is going to do the best job. So there's not any specific thing other than a personality match and then a drive for finding excellent people. And we always tell anybody that works in either of our business that, you know, it's people make mistakes, but being friendly, courteous, and respectful are the most important things, because you can fix every problem if somebody likes you and they're rooting for you. But if you're not friendly or you don't have a smile, you're not respectful of any client or customer in our other business, you're going to have, we can't fix that problem. It makes it way more difficult to win over or correct the situation. So those are the kind of pillars that we run both of our businesses on.
Yeah, and I've actually seen that in action. You have this incredible ability to take a very stressful situation, a situation where a lot of other loan officers are going to crumble or get emotional, or maybe say something that makes the clients more emotional, and you can diffuse that situation. You can handle it, and you're able to just move through it so smoothly. And I think that's one of the reasons why people have such a great experience working with you.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think that as agents and as lenders, our job is to facilitate a transaction between a buyer and a seller. And when things go wrong, I've been here before, here's what we're going to do. We're very calm. We do not add emotion to anything. Right. We diffuse, and we obviously problem solve. So when I'm calling a listing agent, I'm like, hey, here's our buyers. We've done plenty of transactions, and they know, and a seller needs certainty. A listing agent needs certainty. Our job as lenders and as and the buyer's agent is to give that certainty and have them pick our offer, right? So we're letting them kind of know our process. They hopefully already know our reputation. When you close a lot of transactions, it's not by accident. It's because you have a process, you have a way, and then you have a system for obviously keeping emotion at a minimum, right? And obviously working through those problems. And we actually also, we head off problems before they come to be an issue. Like, hey, what if the appraisal doesn't come in at value? What are we going to do? And we've already looked at that. So when the appraisal comes in low, if it does at any, it's very rare, but we already talked about it. Okay, yeah, no big deal. We've already said, here's what it is. We're going to change the LTV, $60 mortgage insurance, no big deal. We're not losing the house. Let's move on, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. We've already talked about it, right? So if you can prepare for every situation ahead of time and communicate that, it's going to make every transaction go smoother, because there's no surprises. Nobody wants a surprise unless it's like Christmas or their birthday, right?
Certainly not when you're buying a house or refinancing. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's great. Another pillar, and you just touched on this earlier, but you went by it so quickly. I want to bring it back up because it's something that I don't hear on a daily basis, but I know it's so important to you and your team. And when you're building your team, you're looking for people that want to do this. And you said, one of the things that we do is we help agents grow their businesses. Mm-hmm. You're not just in the business of closing loans. Right. It doesn't stop there. You are all about agents and helping them be better at what they do, helping them get more business. Yep. But you still have to get into the weeds and structure these deals and send out your quotes and talk to the, all of the different parties and manage your team in the restaurant. How do you prioritize?
It is tricky. And every morning I wake up and I put together and sometimes the night before, a to-do list of what I've got and the non-negotiables and the most important things, the pressing things. And then I kind of revisit anything that Amanda might need on both businesses on a given day. But really it's kind of having that time blocking, non-negotiables, and then knowing what's like going to move the business forward. As an example, we're filming tonight. We did 5 different episodes of Milestone Moment for agents today. And yes, my phone was going off. There's things happening. But those interviews and the relationships that we build on these shows is so vital for continuing to be able to foster what we do, that you've got to time block that out. Now, of course, I'll be working late tonight to catch up on that. But I guess the hard thing is that there's no balance. It's just balancing the jobs that we're doing, and that's where we are right now, and that's okay. And it's been that way for many years. But when I always joke with, when you love what you do every day, you don't work a day in your life, and we have to live by that. We're super lucky with a great community here, both on the support we get for the mortgage business and the pub, and it's just a constant, juggling act in some way, but controlled chaos, I guess, is probably the way it goes.
That's always a good place to operate on, right? Like you're right on the edge of feeling out of control,
right?
But you're not out of control. It is a little chaotic.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I think I know in my career when it's felt like that, that's when things are always happening.
Yeah, and right? Momentum, and you get going, and you never want to let that slow down. So you're exactly right.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about accountability for a second. I think that's one thing that a lot of newer loan officers might struggle with. Mm-hmm. Loan officers that are looking to kind of break through that threshold. That they might be doing $10 or $20 million in production a year. By the way, congrats on a record month in October with almost 14 million in loan volume. That's insane. That's a lot of housing. How many families did you help?
17.
17 families. Yep. Incredible job. So congrats. And this is in a market right now where a lot of loan officers are really struggling. Mm-hmm. A lot of agents are struggling, and you've been able to find a way to capture more market share than you had in the past. So that's great. But back to accountability. A lot of people struggle with that. Yeah. How do you hold yourself accountable? Time blocking is awesome. Yeah. Above that, what types of things are you doing on a daily basis to make sure you're doing all of the little things? Yeah,
well, I have a recipe, right? It's 30 outbound calls every day. It's 100 talk-tos a week. It's 15 face. I was in core training, and that was a portion of my life that I think was valuable. It's a little bit repetitive, and I didn't, I'm not in it anymore. But the recipe of building a business is there. And if you follow that recipe, you're going to have success. And all it is tracking your activity, right? So that's, again, outbound phone calls, face-to-face meetings, getting together, having events, thinking of other ways to add value to an agent business, telling them about our next event that we have coming up, booking a speaker to come in to add, so there's never a moment where I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to do. It's like, oh, there's 4 more projects I need to build on and work on and all that stuff. So I'm just accountable to my goals and accountable to our team, and our team is so invested, and I'm accountable to making sure that they're busy and they have loans to work on. And I think it's just, I've been pretty good at really holding myself accountable because I've got goals that I want to continue to improve. And that's what the most exciting thing about this business is you're never done. It's not like when you're done, hey, the gym calls you, you're all set, you're done. You have to go to the gym, right? It doesn't end, right? So we never stop because we finished. There's always I could do more database work. I could call a past client. Oh, I could get our Thanksgiving pies ready and figure out the marketing that we're going to do and who we're dropping all. Santa photos coming up. But there's all the things, right? So it's just, that's the exciting part, is it just never stops.
It is so much. There's so much marketing that you do. It blows my mind. You've got, the listings on the TVs here in the pub, and you've got your co-marketing flyers and all the events and the associations.
I put my face everywhere. Yeah. We got the flyer.
It's great.
Put my face on it all.
Goals. Can we talk about goals? What do your goals look like as we're heading into 2026? What's next year look like for you?
Yeah, obviously, I think the biggest thing that you want to do is when you have a month where you help 17 families and you do 14 million, I'm like, well, that's good, but can you do it 2 months in a row?
Yeah.
Can you do it for 12 months? It's never, we're never happy or satisfied with where we're at. So I think our biggest goal is to leverage the amazing platform that Milestone has given us and the support that you give us and the support that Vern gives us. So my thing is you've got to be able to understand that it's our job to take care of clients and to grow our business when the people behind us have done such a great job to give us the opportunity and the platform and UWM and the support we get. So my goal is to continue to improve, and it's not necessarily a volume number, which obviously volume is great, but it's how many families can we help? Yeah. How many more referral partners can we get? How many people can we get to our Power Into the New Year event? How many agents will be there? How many agents will leave our event or a meeting with me and want to tell all their friends and family to come to us, right? So that's we measure it in in growth with regard to like connections with people, and then the volume, ends up taking care of itself. But I look at the volume just like anybody, believe me.
How many families next year? Is there a number?
There is not. I need that. My November thing is to put our numbers together for next year. Part of that is understanding where we think the market is. So I'm still obviously very encouraged about next year's market. But there's some planning in late November, December where we really like get a feel, and Barry Habib is great at kind of giving us some projections on where the market is, and then we see where we fit into that. So we'll kind of, before January 1st, definitely have that in place.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great kind of strategic approach, and knowing that it's not one size fits all, and you can't set a plan in place now and expect that not to change. It's going to change.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously feel very much that we can grow our business in spite of the market.
Yeah.
But there's no question that lower rates means different things in the mortgage world, right? So like the volume that people are doing in 2021 and post COVID is much different than the volume that we're doing now. Now our team has been pretty lucky in that we're doing similar volume to that period because we've been able to grow. But believe me, if we had mid 4% rates versus mid 6%, our volume would be much different. Now, I don't expect that to be the case, but I do think that having a bit of an idea of where the market is going to be is important.
Yeah. Is now a good time to buy?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, and what I tell agents to make sure they're getting out to their customers is there is 15% of pent-up demand very easily in buyers. There is not enough inventory, and we will be back to a situation with waiving financing, multiple offers, and it will be crazy. And what agents, I keep telling them, make sure you're letting your clients know. And they may not listen because clients can do what they want, but make sure they're saying, you told me so rather than why didn't you tell me? So I'm getting the word out as much as possible. Right. We're doing a first-time home buyer event here soon to just try and get the data out there to tell as many people as possible. Because I promise you, by second to third quarter, it will be a much different market than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're constantly battling against the headlines from the major media outlets, right. And they create this fear. It's all fear. They're just creating fear because they know that engages people. Right? Fear works. Fear helps with the clicks, but it's not necessarily what's best for building wealth and the opportunities that exist in the real estate market today. Right. I think there's a very short window where people can take advantage of that. Yeah. And this time right now is one of those times where if you are thinking about buying, you should strike.
Yeah, no more thinking. You should be out there right now looking. I agree 100%.
Yeah. What do you see in the industry in the next 3 to 5 years?
Man, that is the hardest thing to predict because nobody knows what AI is going to do to our industry. So, I think it's going to look a lot different 3 years from now. Well, maybe not. Well, 5 years from now for sure. In fact, I don't even know if we would have a job. With AI, you just don't know the limitations or where it's at. But it's hard to predict more than 2 years out with what's going on in AI and the industry in general and how much can change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I expected more.
That's all. I wish I had the magic answer, but man, I'll tell you, we go to these AI summits and it's insane what's happening right now. So, the name and likeness might just be a thing. Put my name on it, and who knows? I think it's gonna be a whole different thing.
Kind of like college sports,
right?
Go for it.
Yeah, hopefully I've got
the technology is evolving so fast, but it's fun. Yeah. It's fun to be in the mix and use it and experience it and leverage it to be more efficient. And I'm sure part of that is helped you get to a record month last month.
Absolutely, right? PowerYourBusiness.ai is one of the things. I've got buybeforeyouSell.ai. We're all in on the AI boom and obviously in a controlled way, but it will definitely change the business.
Great. So you had a ton of different options before you decided to come to Milestone.
Absolutely.
Why did you choose Milestone?
Man, I'll tell you, as long as I've been in this business, and this is not just telling it because you're here and or Vern, maybe watching, but Milestone is by far the best platform that I've ever seen in regard to having the close-knit family feel of knowing I can text and call Vern, the owner, anytime. I can get a hold of Craig. I can reach out to you. having access to the leaders in a company, and then having the backing of Bristol Savings, a $3 billion asset portfolio, but having, you know, a small group of like-minded people. So having the access to owners, close-knit group, and then having financial capacity like we do, and then having the partners that we have with United Wholesale, like there's not a better way. And that's what I was kind of saying as far as pushing our team and or our initiatives, because we've got everything to be successful. And it would be a travesty not to be successful in this environment because of how well we are positioned for success. So super grateful for the platform that we have in banker, broker, FDIC insured. I mean, there's not a better way for closing loans than what we have at Milestone.
Yeah, that's fantastic and great to hear. It's a very special dynamic that we have in place, and it's like a startup in that family kind of, you know, based culture, but with the backing of like you said, a major bank. So pretty unique in this channel. So that's what I like about it too. That's great. Final question for you, Adrian.
Yeah.
What is your milestone moment?
Man, well, I've got, you know, it's an interesting one. I've got two of them. You know, initially, the milestone moment, I was on a high-producing team as a production partner, and I made the decision to go out on my own and put it all in and bet on myself. That was extremely scary. Obviously, having the lead volume and all the different things and being around a team, but the things I learned by being on a big team and all the transactions you get to see and all that, sped up my learning and my ability to kind of see, you know, what it takes to really be successful in this business. And then the milestone moment would be, you know, kind of going to Milestone, but even bigger than that was going from retail to broker, making that change and understanding that the technology access and the way and the platform that the broker world with United Wholesale and Matt Ishby and what they has been built has made the mortgage market so much more efficient that there's no question that that's the path. So going to the broker channel with a correspondent bank line and having the control and the efficiencies and being able to close extremely quickly with competitive rates, there's no better decision I've made. And then of course going to Milestone was just icing on the cake, and even better. But that, you know, the broker channel is what the future of lending is for, without question.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing up tonight to your podcast and answering these questions.
Well, thank you for having me and being such an amazing host. Appreciate it, Scott.
Sean.
Appreciate it, Sean.